Once again, welcome back to the information station, where we provide information that can help change your situation, which will empower you to have your very own motivation. My name is Shahid, and thank you all for joining me. This is an area of life that I think a lot of people can use a lot more clarity on. You know, many of us are going through a lot of trials, and it's hard times, dealing with the vaccination, dealing with the shutdown, people just trying to find themselves in today's world today because things are changing, and things are changing all around us. And a lot of people are having a hard time understanding what's going on, understanding why we're going through the things we're going through. You see, and I believe that if I'm able to bring some clarity to this area in your life, it will be a game changer. So if you stick around to the end of this video, you're going to discover a reason for a lot of the things that you're going through. Now, you must understand that everything that you go through in life is connected to what you desire. Now, a lot of times people feel like things are happening to us. Why I got to go through that? Why me? Why am I having such a hard time? Why is things not working out for me? And you must realize that there's nothing happening to you, but everything is happening for you. You see, every time you desire something, it is your desires that's causing a lot of the problems in your life. Now, let me break this down, because many might say, well, how is that possible? Well, I'm going to explain that. Now, when we desire something, and we all have aspirations, we all have achievements, things that we're trying to reach, places we want to go, in life, a certain amount of money we want in the bank, we want our careers to take off. We want all these things that we seek, and rightfully so, because it's our human nature to do so. But you must understand that most people pay more attention to the absence of what they want rather than the expectation of what they want. Now, there's a huge difference between those two. Because when you ask for something or you desire something, that thing burns in you. That thing is, you think about it day and night. It eats at you. You want to be in a certain place, and you want to be of a certain status, and you want to have a certain amount of money or live in a certain neighborhood. When these things burn in you, the problem is when we don't have them, or when it's not happening quick enough, or when it seems like it's nothing but an uphill battle. That's because you're paying more attention to the absence of that thing rather than the expectation. You see, when you pay attention to the absence, that brings on misery. That brings on depression. That brings on frustration. You start to feel like a failure. You start to feel like it's never going to happen. Things are not working out for me. You see, in scripture, when we look at, like, if you deal with, in the biblical sense, in James, the 2nd chapter of James, it says, for we understand the patience in wanting nothing. There's several areas in scripture where it says wanting nothing. Now, it also says it in Philippians, the 4th chapter, 11th verse, it says, not that we speak in respect of want. Now, before you, misunderstand, there's nothing wrong with wanting. Okay. But when you operate in expectation is different than the absence, because expectation makes you have joy. Expectation makes you excited. When you know that what you ask for is on its way, when you know that you are walking toward that thing that you desire, and you start to have that expectation of it showing up, oh my God, expectation is a wonderful place to be. You see, this is when it talks about hope. See, expectation puts you in a state of excitement. It puts you in a state of joy. It puts you in a state of about to explode at the seams because you know it's coming, because you know it's here. See, this is the difference that we make. And it's these subtle differences that make such a huge, huge difference in your life. See, most people walk around and they notice that they don't have it. They notice that I don't have that Tesla. I don't have that Range Rover. I don't have that husband. I don't have that wife. You see, and they pay more attention to that. And that only puts them, it makes them sink deeper and deeper and deeper into a depressed state. But man, when you are in expectation is exhilarating. You know, you can't even hold yourself because you know the things you desire is on its way. See, now, the second thing is we have to understand that why does it say wanting nothing? How does that make sense, Shahid? How does this? We all want things because you have to become what it is that you want. Stick with me. You have to become the thing that you ask for. If you want love, you have to give love. If you want to be happy, okay, then make somebody else happy. If you want trust, then you got to be trustworthy. If you want a faithful person, then you have to be faithful. See, you got to become the thing that you want. This is why it says wanting nothing. That means that there's an absence of, okay? But when you understand how it all works, you don't need $1 million to carry yourself like $1 million. You don't need to have a big house to carry yourself like you have a big house. Let me tell you something. If it drives you crazy or it stresses you out that you have to fix the brakes on your Honda Accord and that stresses you out, well, how you ever going to have a Range Rover? How you ever going to have a Mercedes? How you ever going to have a Bentley? How you going to have the Tesla? Because guess what? It costs a lot more. So you have to put yourself in a position to show the universe what you're capable of. Now, we have all heard the term growing up that God doesn't put any more on you than you can bear. You know, we use that terminology, right? That God doesn't put any more on you than you can bear. Well, you have to show and prove to the universe what you're capable of handling. If you desire a beautiful home, if you desire 5,000 square feet, 10,000 square feet, but you can't keep your 1-bedroom apartment clean, you're not a reflection of what you're asking for. You have not become the thing that you're asking for. You see, so it is our desires that create the things we go through in life. See, that maps out the course. Listen, when you desire something, right? And let's just say you want to be a doctor. You know, my mother was a doctor. My father was a doctor. His father was a doctor. I have 2 uncles who are doctors, and you desire that you want to be a doctor. Then the universe says, fine, you can be a doctor. But here's the thing. You don't like to study. So that has to be addressed first. And you also have a drinking problem. And that has to be addressed first. You don't pay attention to detail. That has to be addressed first. You understand? So depending on the proximity of where you are to what you desire determines the path you have to take. See, it's like when you put in directions in your Google Maps. Now, is what you're asking for the equivalent of you being in New York trying to get directions to California? Or are you trying to get from New York to Jersey, which could be a short ride? You see, it all depends on your proximity. You know, we hear the terminology, we hear people say growing up, get in where you fit in. Well, that's what this means. Now, you can have anything you desire, but understand where you are opposed to where you want to go. You see, and this is what I mean when I say that it is your desires. Everything that you go through in life is connected to what you desire. It depends on your proximity to the thing that you're asking for. If you're asking for, you know, I want a great wife, I want a beautiful woman, I want someone who is faithful, who is loyal, who is committed, someone who is trustworthy. But check it out, you are none of those things. See, you have to be a reflection of that. Why do I keep meeting the same type of men? Why do I keep meeting the same type of guys? It seems as if every time I turn around, I'm meeting the same type of people. Well, that's because what you're asking for, you don't have it to meet that person yet. That means that there's something that needs to be taken care of on this level before you can go to the next level. So if you're desiring someone who is trustworthy, someone who is faithful, someone who is committed to you, but guess what? You're none of those things yourself. So the people that you're meeting now is only there to help you and strengthen you in those areas that you're lacking. It's the way that you collect your $200 and pass go. You see, people don't realize that by running from one relationship to the next relationship, every time you run into a problem, every time you get into a relationship that challenges you, the first thing a person want to do is run away. I used to do it. I was that person. You see, we always want to run away. We always want to run away, but not realizing that these things or these people are brought into your path for a reason. These people are here so that, see, the universe is tired of you asking. It wants to give you the things that you're asking for. It really wants you to have it, okay? But it can't break the rules for you. What it can do is it can cultivate you to try to bring situations, people, obstacles, things in your path. All these things are designed to help you become the reflection of what you're asking for. So rather than run from the guy, okay, or run from the relationship, okay, that's challenging you, accept the challenge. Because let's just say what you're asking for requires you to speak up more. What you're asking for, the thing you desire, requires you to be more assertive, requires you not to be so passive. Now, this relationship comes in, and this relationship challenges you in that area. But you don't recognize the connection. You don't recognize, why is this person always demanding that I speak up? You're starting to get it now? Because if you look at what you desire and look at what you're going through, and you're able to say to yourself, wow, what does this have to do with that? When you can make that connection, what this job, this person, this relationship, this position that I'm in right now, when you are able to say, what does this have to do with what I'm asking for? And you can connect those dots. Game changer. Game changer in your life. You wanting to be a doctor, but here it is, you're working in a meat market. Or you're in a relationship where your wife is always, or your girlfriend is always arguing with you about your drinking. Now you're working in a meat market because you can't stand the sight of blood. So what does me working in this meat market has to do with me becoming a doctor? Getting you used to being around blood. Getting you used to being around these things. You see, this person is constantly fussing with you about your boss is always on your back because you're not efficient, because you don't pay attention to detail. And what you do is you get frustrated, not realizing that this is all a part of your desire, because if you want to be this certain thing, guess what? It's going to require discipline. It's going to require you to be more efficient. It's going to require for you to be on point. Are you starting to get this? When you look at this relationship, why is this person always hounding me about how much I'm drinking? What's your desire? Is what you're desiring just maybe demands you to get that under control? You're starting to see how this thing works yet? So instead of becoming so frustrated in a situation, a job, relationship, parents on your back, whatever it may be, instead of becoming so frustrated in it, start to look at it. Like I said, everything that you go through is connected to what you desire. If you look at your desires and analyze them and say, what is it going to take for me to become this person? And then look at the situation that you're in and what the problems keep rising, you start to see it. You will start to realize it. Are you getting this? So instead of running from the problem, because like I said, what you run from, you run toward. The reason why you keep meeting the same type of men is because you still have the same desire. As long as your desire remains the same, the lesson is still needed. As long as your desires are still strong within you, then this situation is still relevant. This is why these things keep popping up in your life. It's going to continue to pop up until you address them. You're wanting to be something over here, but you have a bad temper over here. So in order for you to become the reflection, the temper has to be addressed first before it can allow you to walk into your greatness. Do you get this? Do you see it? Your parents on your back, they keep arguing with you about something. What is it you desire? Take a look at it. And then see, how is this helping, or why is this pushing you in this direction? Or why does this thing keep challenging you every time you turn around? Because you are on the cusp of your breakthrough. You are on the cusp of having what you desire. You just got to fine tune some things, because you become a reflection of the thing that you desire. And the universe reflects back to you that which you truly are. Now, it's not reflecting back to you your words. No, it's not your words that the universe is reflecting. You have to understand the language of the universe. What is the language that the universe is speaking? The universe speaks vibration, frequency, energy. So when you hold the energy, like people say, well, I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy. What is the energy in which those words are coming from? That you're not. Man, I just want to make more money. I just want to make your money. Well, the energy from that is that you're broke. The energy is the lack of. That's what's being responded to. It's responding to the place where the request is coming from, not necessarily the words. You see, when you say that, I just want somebody to love me, I just want somebody to, there's a void. That means that you're not there. Therefore, you are not a reflection of what you're asking for. And this is the problem that many are running into, and they don't understand this, because these are not the things that that this society teaches? No one teaches this. You know, where do you get this from? Who talks to you like this? We have been programmed to be robots. The larger part of you is not the color of your skin, your blood, your flesh. That's not who you are. We all know that. What is the largest part of you? The largest part of you is the part that's unseen. You know, we are spiritual people having a human experience. But no one teaches about that part. We only deal with the external. We only deal with taste, touch, see, smell, and hear. Anything outside of those senses, people are totally lost. If they can't see it, if they can't taste it, touch it, smell it, hear it, they can't understand it. It don't exist. Well, you can't see stress, can you? And we all know stress can kill you. What does anger look like? I'm not talking about the effect or the exterior. I'm talking about the emotion. What does that look like? You see, we can't see these things. We only see the example of these things. So when you desire something, see, there's nothing wrong with desiring. This is how we grow. We put our ideals, we put our requests, we put our desires out into the universe. Fine. Nothing wrong with that. But then, like scripture, I like using scripture because it applies so beautifully. It says, once you finish praying, when you stand up, believe that ye have those things. You see, you don't have to continue to ask. You don't have to keep asking. You got to start becoming. Stop asking and start to become it. Walk like that person. You know, you have to start to implement behavioral patterns of what you ask for. You see, we hear all the time that, oh, just wait, wait on the Lord and wait on God and wait for this and wait for that. Let me tell you something, and I want y'all to hear me clearly. There's nothing to wait on. There's no reason to wait. Soon as you ask, that request is granted. Soon as you put it out, it's done. Now, what it is you have to do is the preparation. You have to start putting in the preparation. See, the reason why there's nothing to wait on, because there's always work to be done. What you are trying to do is you are trying your best to become in alignment with what you asked for. That's your job. That's our job. Our job is to try and align. Try to bring ourselves to be one with the thing that we asked for. Let me tell you something. I carry myself in a certain manner. I am respected a certain way. People look up to me. People come up to me. My aura, my energy. When I step into a room, people can feel it. They don't know whether I have $20 or $20 million. Why? Because my energy is there. Because my persona is there. My character is there. And this is what you have to do. But most people want to wait for things to happen. We need something to happen first in order for us to be happy. You know what I call this? Waiting for the reflection in the mirror to smile first. You are standing in front of the mirror, waiting for your reflection to smile first. And once it smiles, then you can smile. Doesn't work like that, y'all. It can only reflect back to you what you put in front of it. Think about this. You ever notice when you buy a car or when you, you know, buy a certain thing, all of a sudden it starts showing up? Huh? Soon as you buy a handbag, soon as you buy a dress, all of a sudden you start to see it. Why do you think that is? Why do you think soon as you brought this brand new Tesla, next thing you know, you see it everywhere you go? You're sitting at the traffic light. There's another one. You're driving on the highway. One passes you. You notice this thing every time it drives by. Why is that? Because now you have it. They've always been there. You just didn't notice it. They've always been there. But now you have it. And once you have it, guess what? It starts to show up, starts to show up, starts to show up. Everywhere you look, starts to show up. Can't stop it. You understand how this works? You have to have it first. You have to become that thing first. What do they say? They say money make you more of what you already are. We all hear that, right? You know, if you're an asshole, guess what? And you get some money, you're just more of an asshole. You know, if you're a rude, obnoxious person and you come into some money, it's amplified. It's amplified. So you got to learn that, what is my job? What is it that I'm supposed to do? You are supposed to carry yourself in the manner of what you desire. This is how you cut down on the time. This is how you can make things come a lot faster. This is how they show up in your life a lot quicker. There's nothing that you need. Only something you need to do. You hear me? There's nothing that you need. When we say that there's something that we need, we imply that there's something that God left out, that the Creator left out, that the universe left out. You don't see a snake saying, man, I wish I had legs. You don't see a turtle saying, I wish I was faster. You don't see a bird running around saying, damn, if I only had hands. They operate with what they have. You see, you have to become that thing that you're seeking. So nothing is happening to you, but rather everything is happening for you. When you see people and they are so broken out here today, when people are walking around depressed, when people are walking around just in misery, you know what? That's a person that has a lot of expectation. That's a person that has put a lot out into the universe. You see, that's why I admire people who don't need much. I envy them. I mean, I admire them. It's not the people that got a lot that I look at. It's the ones that don't need nothing. You know, hey, I got a trailer, I got a truck, I got a dog, and I got a fishing rod. They happy. They are happy. They don't have any pressure on them. I admire those people. I'm not one of them. I got a lot of desires. You know, to people that can live that way, man, they got my respect. They definitely got my respect. And I truly mean that. You see? But they say that the Lord doesn't put any more on you than you can bear, or, you know, to whom much is given, much is required. I understand that. I accept that. I will walk that path. I will take on those tasks. I'm built for that. You see, a lot of people don't want that. A lot of people can't handle that. Too much pressure. Get in where you fit in. If that's you, then get in where you fit in. But to those who desire to live that life, for those who desire to have that know that there's a lot more inside of them, well, strap in. Because they say if it was easy, everybody would do it. But I'm here to take the pressure off you. I'm here to get you to understand what's taking place in your life. Now, if you're getting value out of this video, please hit the subscribe button and click the bell. And don't forget to like. But if you're getting value out of this, I'm talking to you. People commit suicide. People wreck in the journey. They wreck in the journey. And the reason for this channel is to help you understand the things you're going through so that it might just be the missing piece to your puzzle. It might just be that thing that you've been missing, just that clarity to say, man, that's what's going on. That's what's taking place. This is why I went through that. This is why this keep happening. I get it now. Because I have been living in the absence of it rather than becoming it and staying in the expectation. Because that's where the power is. This is why scripture talks so much about joy. Think about this. The joy of the Lord is your strength. Rejoice and be glad. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Be glad in it. Joy, unspeakable joy. Leap for joy. Why does it talk about joy so much? It's trying to set your vibrational tone. It's trying to set your vibrational frequency. It has nothing to do with being a Christian or being this or being that. It has nothing to do with religious and all these things. It has nothing to do with that. This applies to everybody, regardless of what your denomination is. I don't care if you don't believe in anything, but it's trying to set your vibrational frequency. Because when you admit joy, we're dealing with reflection, right? That's what, just like the car, when you buy the car, it starts to show up, starts to show up, starts to show up. This is why so many references is to joy. All it's doing is trying to get you to change your vibration, trying to get you to omit a signal. And it's just like a radio, it's just like your radio in your car. When you tune in, oh my God, when you tune into that station, you might get static and you might hear all this other babble going on and while it's trying to find that right signal. But as soon as you latch on to that signal, what happens? Clarity. What happens? You receive right through that transmission. It amplifies through the speakers. This is what life is trying to do. It's trying to get you to tune into that station. You see, you over here listening to 107.5 and you're crying because you don't like what's being played. Not realizing if you just tune into a different frequency. Now, just because you're tuned into 107.5, does that mean that 98.7 is not playing? Or does it mean you can't hear it from where you are? Does it mean that you can't receive it because you're not tuned into it? It was always there. It was always available to you. But while you're over here crying about this and while you're over here frustrated about this, all you had to do was tune in. And you do that by becoming the things you desire. You do that by tuning into that frequency. Oh my God. When you understand this, when you get this, it's going to be a game changer in your life. It's going to be a game changer in your life. Once again, this is the information station where I provide information that can help change your situation, which hopefully will empower you to have your very own motivation. My name is Shahid. Thanks for joining me.